So the question of whether technology is going to make a difference in diversity in trade finance is an interesting one, because there are two angles to it. One, would it level the playing field, or would it be one of the mechanisms to help level the playing field for those providers of trade finance? And two, could it make it more accessible and friendlier for those people who would like to use it, those women who would like to use trade finance? The first question, I honestly don't know. The jury is out. It takes more than technology to make a really big difference. It takes board level strategy, direction, courage. It takes significant cultural change, and it takes the willingness to do those things.
I think there's a lot we need to do before the level playing field is something that happens. I think technology does help, because a lot of trade finance is relationship based. And that's really where women are at a disadvantage, particularly when you have a large bank that's been in action for hundreds of years and that has a lot of rules. And so the way that you get work done is to go around those rules and to use your relationships, which may or may not be available to women because there's so few of them. So as a lot of the processes are automated, as you move trade finance onto the blockchain, for example, what you're doing is you're reducing the number of relationships that matter in the transaction. And so I think that would be of great benefit to women when that's an area where they struggle.
I think technology may be a way to bring more diversity, but I think it's not the only way, and it needs to be well thought through at every level, not only in technology. My concern is that I think if trade finance becomes a more technology-driven business, we may have more difficulties to hire women because, as I explained today, there are still too many women or girls undertaking engineering or computer science studies, and we need really to have action in that field to make sure that it's going to change in the future.
Now, the other part of the question was, would it make a difference to the way that women can access finance? And there I think technology could and should make a fundamental difference in dispersing the finance down to the people who need it, who want it, and are actually good and responsible borrowers. The proviso is that the design of the technology which enables the effective dispersal of finance is done thinking about the end customer. And if you've only got blokes designing products for blokes, it's quite likely that blokes will use those products, and the rest of us will feel less welcome, less targeted by it, less open to it, because it doesn't seem to be as if it's for us.
See, when you talk about women receiving trade finance, that's where it becomes really interesting, because we have a whole host of statistics that show that businesses that are owned by women need more finance for trade and are rejected much more often. And so they're sort of left with, okay, we need this trade finance, we don't have it, how do we make the trade happen? And so they tend to inefficiently use their capital then. So as the process becomes more digitized and you're able to finance the trade transaction at different points in the transaction's life cycle, this is going to be beneficial to the women-led firms as well, because the constraints that they faced before won't be as important.
I see technology as a real enabler of trade finance and really making the life of our clients more simple. What's going to change is the way you are going to interact with your bank. You are going to have the choice between digital platform or usual interaction with some of the staff of the bank. So more choice, different client experience, but certainly not different if you are a man or a woman.